Well, the works come out of the simple gesture of an artist unrolling the fence in his studio. So, as most of my ideas, they originate within the studio practice. But the difference is what's happening in the studio and then what's come up on the show. So that's the story of a plot, which actually is an untranslatable word. We decided to not to translate it with the curator Marek Bartelik, with whom I proposed the work for the National Pavilion for the Venice Biennale last year. Well, the exhibition which took place, and I feel very fortunate about the whole situation. I think this was a very good show last year, which we've created with Marek Wasilewski. Was the actual presentation of the full-scale project proposed for the Venice Biennale. The Venice Biennale project, which we applied for with Marek Bartelik, who is a New York-based curator, was rejected. But I would have said that the actual rejection is a part of work. In fact, I don't know if the work with such a quality and subtlety can be rejected for the formal reasons, but for some reasons it was rejected. So in fact it adds, I would say the rejection adds a bit to the whole project, and it really works not as a work as such, but also as a work which is a rejected project. And in that way was presented in Arsenal Gallery last year. Well, it's probably one of the most important works I've done so far. It deals with the same structure from a formal side as most of work, which means most of my work, which means dealing with the projection. That also is not a question of just a mean or transplantation of the image, but also it's the problem in itself. And I think this is really the story of plot, that it is a projection, it is a work which is being projected in a gallery space, covering the walls within a constant loop until the space becomes white. But also it's a question of our projection in terms of all problems that are related to the idea of a plot, which can be, for example, xenophobia, the fear of the other, those problems that in fact begin or originate as a projection in our heads. And well, it of course can apply to all sorts of current issues that happen to be very much present within our local environment as well as a global one. But what can I say is that my will or enthusiasm to show this work and to present it was not that the work was made as a result of the situation, but in fact the situation added to what's been already there, because the work originates from 2014 when I made the actual gesture in the studio. So what's interesting also in terms of the relation between the politics or the social the problematics and all those issues that we somehow relate to when we inside of installation, or we can relate to, is that they came second. But still, I would have said it's quite a challenge that though they came as a second, still the work is not an illustration of a problem. It's a piece of art in itself, and I think more universal than just illustrative towards the situation that we're dealing with now. Although I think the currency, or the sudden currency which appeared in context between this work and the situation that we deal with, made me feel like that I really would like to propose it for especially a national pavilion at the Venice Biennale.